I call to order the December meeting of the Homewood Board of Zoning Adjustments, calling it to order. And now we'll proceed with roll call.
All right. Mr. Gear.
Here.
Mr. Roberts. Mr. Foley. Ms. Hand.
Here.
Mr. Perkle.
Here.
Mr. Alsabrook.
Here.
And Mr. Wortley.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum.
Great, we'll move on to approval of the minutes. Did everyone have a chance to read last month?
Yep.
Great.
I move we approve the minutes from the November 2022 meeting.
I'll second.
By voice vote acclamation?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, all in favor? Yeah.
Aye.
All right. Minutes approved. Thank you.
Next, we'll be moving on to communications from me, and the chair is not here today, but we are going to have Michael Perkle be in charge of the nominating committee for our next chair and vice chair. We do not have any old business, and so now we're moving on to tonight's cases. We'll move forward with Mr. Loberbaum's first. So we'll go to BZA case SV number 22-12-05.
Hoping not to make this a regular occurrence. We are asking for two variances for David Loberbaum, landscape architect, two variances for 1625 Oxmoor Road. One is the front patio space, the materials used out there. We have two considerations. One is concrete pavers with synthetic turf or just all stone, similar to what's used in the park. And just that's the first one. The second one is more pertinent. It's a landscape variance due to we're not changing the parking lot surface on the back, I guess, south corner over there. And so we were proposing a reduction there, but with plant material at the closer to Oxmoor Road, and then a privacy fence that goes on the backside to screen the property from the residential side on the south. So.
Great. This is a public hearing. If there's anyone from the audience who would like to say something, this is your chance. And it looks like there's no one, so we'll open this up to the board for questions. Great. No questions.
Seeing no questions, I move we vote to approve BZA case SV 2212-05.
I'll second.
All right. Mr. Gear.
Yes.
Mr. Perkle.
Yes.
Mr. Alsabrook.
Yes.
Mr. Wortley.
Yes.
And Ms. Hand.
Yes. You have 180 days to get your permit, and the variance approval is not intended to apply that you'll necessarily get the building permit.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next, we'll move on to case SV-22-12-01205 Mecca Avenue.
Good evening. William Siegel, 1707 Shades Park Drive. I'm with Twin Construction. This particular variance is to add a second story to a house. The main level only gets minor renovations, and the second story is kind of over the right side of the house. The existing structure is adequate to take the second load. There's really two parts to this variance. The architect is requesting, so one is existing non-conforming house on the right and left to go straight up. The second request, and I'd like to separate these as a vote, is the architect would like to do a wing wall on the right side that gets an additional 3.47 feet towards the right property line. So if we can separate those votes out. The current right side setback is 5.8 feet. The requirement is 10 feet. That's at the back right corner. And again, we're requesting to go straight up on that. The left building setback will remain as is. We're not adding a second story to the left side of that property. And currently it's at 5.6 feet, so we're existing non-conforming there as well, asking for a 4.4 foot variance. Does that make sense? Oh, I'm sorry, there's one other thing. The front, there is a front setback on there. The front setback, they currently have like a front stoop. That'll get removed and they're doing a larger front awning. Technically, I get an 18-inch cantilever, but since this will not be off the main roof line, it's not considered a eave detail. And so the variance is requested for the 1.1 feet to get an additional foot of coverage on the front. So if that roof line were to connect to the main line, it actually would be in compliance, but since it's not connected to the main roof line, it's not considered, it's just a projection, right? It's not considered an eave.
Great. And did you want that one separate too, all three separate?
I wasn't planning on it, but yeah, I guess if you'd like. Yeah, not if you'd like, I'd like. Sounds good.
Sure, yeah, let's
Can't
do-
hurt.
Let's do all three separate.
Sounds good.
Okay, this is a public hearing, so if there's anyone from the audience who would like to comment on this property, feel free to come up. Since there is no one, we'll open this to the board for questions. I did have a question. What was
Yeah.
the architect's idea behind putting, the wing wall?
I've had discussion with the architect. He would like to mirror the left side and the right side to make it symmetric so that that roof line had a return on it. The obvious concern is we're getting really close to the property line if they did that. So since
Yeah.
it's not a fence, it's not particularly low, I mentioned to the architect that I would like to ask for that separately, and that's why I'm requesting that separately. But it was a symmetry.
Yeah.
For symmetry.
This maybe is a dumb question, but would it be symmetrical if they just got rid of both?
Correct.
Oh,
Not a dumb question.
just wondering.
No, fair enough.
William, question about your standing seam roof there, your projection.
Mhm.
So I see that it's also going off to the right side of the house. Is that something that we're,
Well, yeah, and to clarify, I think the three request is a great idea. The first request would just be the 1.1 feet for the projection of the roof line coming forward. That would not extend to the right of the existing house. So I think that's your question, is the 1.1 feet would come straight out. But the second request, I think, is the existing non-conforming structure and adding on the second floor. So that second request would include the left side that's non-conforming, that's not getting the second floor, the right side that's non-conforming and is getting the second floor, and the third request is for the wing wall. So,
perfect?
does that make sense? Okay. Does not. Can I clarify that somehow?
The first request. Yeah, there we go, sorry. The first request is for the front.
Correct.
The second request is for the right. The third request is for the left.
No, I need the right side to go straight up.
I
So
know.
the second request, I would like to include both the left side and the right side. Basically, the second request is the house is non-conforming. I'd like to add vertically on that non-conforming structure.
Well, you
The
have
third
to-
request is just for the wing wall itself, which would be an additional right side request. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I know what you're saying.
They have to
But-
vote like they
but
were
it's gonna-
advertised.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you can still split the votes, the requests into three. But that request for the right side would be for the 2.33, which includes the wing wall.
Correct. In past meetings, we've proffered to reduce that, and that's been granted. Can I proffer to
Which
reduce
you
that?
can do when, if that's.
You're
some-
saying I can't vote for 2 right sides, but I can
Right.
proffer to reduce it?
Correct.
Understood. I'd like to proffer to reduce that to the existing condition, which is the 5.8 feet, requiring a 4.2 foot right side setback. So scratch the third request.
I think technically.
Technically, you have to vote on it.
You do have a third request, because the third request is the left
Yeah.
side.
You have 3, yeah. you
I
have-
got you, I got you.
Okay, well, here, just make sure that you do.
Okay, I just want it to be right. So however I
Yeah, we
need
want
to-
it, and we want it to be as advertised.
Okay,
So let's just make sure that we keep, yeah, because you can only ask for 1 variance for that side.
okay. So I'm changing request B.
Correct.
Got it. I'd like to proffer to change request B from 2.33 side setback to a 4.2 foot to get us back to the existing condition.
A reduction of 4.2 feet.
No, the reduction is whatever the delta is between 4.2 feet and
Well, it's
2.
Isn't it currently at 5.8?
I gotta look at the survey, but yes.
Yeah, I think it's currently at 5.8.
So would that not mean my
Yeah.
request is for 4.2 feet?
Yes, I just wanted to clarify that,
Correct.
make sure that you weren't asking for a 4.2 setback. You were requesting a reduction from 10 feet to 5.8.
Correct.
Good.
I wanna go straight up.
So back to Mr. Perkle's question, I think.
Yeah.
The standing seam roof seems to project to the right side more than 18 inches from where the existing building line is.
My understanding is if my new B is now at the 4.2 feet, then I couldn't project farther than 4.2 feet anyways, right? So if they vote for B, which would mean I cannot go farther to the right than that 4.2
Then
feet.
5.8. Yeah,
Then 5.8 feet. I can't get any closer to the property line than 5.8
Correct.
feet. So that would take care of any projections from the front going further to the right.
Okay.
okay.
Correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Then you get 18 inches additional too?
Not if
No.
it's not connected to the main roof line. 18 inches is just for any
Yeah.
height.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
So does A rely on a yes vote for B?
no.
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 A is completely independent of any others.
Yeah, they would just have to
Correct.
make it flush.
Yeah, so A, just to summarize, A is for the front, B is the right without the projection for the wing wall, and C would be the left side non-conforming.
The second story is only on, or this new second story is only on the right side.
Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure you understood.
Okay.
Good.
Make a motion to vote on SV 22-12-01.
A.
A.
I'll second.
Oh, I'm sorry, my seconded? Okay. Okay, sorry, this microphone's very sensitive. Okay, on that motion then, Mr. Ward, we're voting on the motion that Mr. Perkle made to approve. Oh, what was your motion? I'm sorry, maybe I misunderstood.
I need to borrow your
Yeah.
agenda here, make sure I say it correctly here.
I thought we were voting on them separately.
Yeah, so he
Just
said
for-
that,
He said A.
He's doing, that's,
Yeah.
yeah,
so this-
okay.
this
Was
guy,
to approve
A.
A, the subsection A, okay, all right. Now, based on that, we will vote on A of the case, all right? Now, Mr. Gear,
Yes.
Mr. Purple,
Yes.
Mr. Alsabrook,
Yes.
Mr. Wortley,
Yes.
and Ms. Hand.
Yes,
Okay.
this variance has been approved. You have 80 days to pull your permit for A, and this does not necessarily mean that you will receive the building permit.
Understood.
So that, yeah, this the right side. Only, yeah, only as it exists.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve and vote on SV number 22-12-01, sub item B,
With the proffer
with the proffer
that it's only the existing.
that it's only gonna be within the existing setback of 5.8. Is that correct?
Correct.
Second, Fred.
All right. All right. One moment. Okay. Mr. Gear,
No.
Mr. Purkle,
No.
Mr. Alsabrook,
Yes.
Mr. Wortley,
Yes.
and Ms. Hand.
Yes. Unfortunately, you needed 4 votes for that, so that was,
Was
yeah,
was everybody clear that that was going from the existing structure straight up?
yes.
Correct, okay. Sounds good.
Great. Yeah, this guy, the left
The
side.
front side?
No, this is just the left.
I'd like to make a motion to vote on SV number 22-12-01, subtitle C.
Second.
All right. Mr. Gear,
No.
Mr. Purkle,
No.
Mr. Alsabrook,
Yes.
Mr. Wortley,
Yes.
and Ms. Hand.
Yes. Your request for variance has been denied for sub C. So now we will move on to your next one, SV number 22-12-02. I lost it. Oh, 421 Cliff Place.
Okay, this is a existing one-story house that we are looking to add a rear addition off the back left. That rear addition, as we go straight back, will require a left side variance of 0.1 feet, just the way the house is askew to the actual property. There is also existing non-conforming on the right side of the house. So that is going to be 5.7 feet from the right side of the house. So those are the 2 requests that we're asking for. The right side, again, structurally, the house is on a full basement. That where the lap siding is, that will extend up to the 2nd floor. So that is the right elevation there. Be happy to answer any questions or concerns.
Great, we'll open this to the public real quick. If there's anyone from the audience who would like to say anything.
The
And there
homeowners
is
are here
not?
too, if you have
Yeah.
a question.
So we'll open that back up to questions from the board.
Okay.
Seeing no questions from the board, I move we vote to approve BZA case SV 22-12-02.
I'll second.
All right. Mr. Gear,
Yes.
Mr. Perkel,
Yes.
Mr. Alsabrook,
Yes.
Mr. Wortley,
Yes.
and Ms. Hand.
Yes, you have 180 days to pull your permit, and this does not necessarily mean that your building permit will be approved.
Thank you.
Next, we'll move on to BZA case SV-22-12-03, 427 Cliff Place.
This is a similar type of renovation, that the house is on a full basement. We are requesting a right side variance due to the existing non-conforming on the right side of the house. We want to remain 7 feet off the property line, which is what it currently is, and go straight up the second floor. Again, we've gotten engineering to approve the existing foundation is adequate. There's the right elevation there, so we'll be adding the gable on the right side. Homeowners are here too, if you'd like to ask.
Great. We'll open this to the public if anybody in the audience would like to say anything. Then we'll move on to questions from the board.
Seeing no questions from the board, I move we vote to approve BZA case SV 22-12-03.
Second.
All right. Mr. Gear,
Yes.
Mr. Perkel,
Yes.
Mr. Alsabrook,
Yes.
Mr. Wortley,
Yes.
and Ms. Hand.
Yes. Your variance has been approved. You have 180 days to pull your permit, and this does not necessarily mean that your building permit will be approved. Next, we're going to move on to BZA case SV 22-12-04, 1218 Irving Road.
This is a similar type of project. It's a one-story house. We're going straight up on the existing footprint on this house. There is currently a front stoop on the house, and the current setback is 19.4 feet. We're actually looking to push that back further, but maintain a little bit of coverage. So I think there's a front elevation on the rendering as well. Either one, that one. So on that right side, we're asking for a 2.1 variance to cover that front door, but technically we're moving it back, 3 feet or so from where it currently sits to make it a little bit farther away from the property line. That still is going to require 2.1 variance request. The left building setback goes over a smidge. It's 0.4 feet over in the back left corner, so that will maintain the existing 4.6 feet, sorry. So.
Great. This is a public hearing. Anybody from the public who would like to say anything? No, so we'll close the public.
Can I add one thing that I have in here? The accessory structure that's on the back right, sometimes we need to get that qualified because it's right up on the property line. That is going to be removed as part of this process. So that's why we're not asking to grant that, I guess, if we would have had to ask to grant that. But that little rear garage is being removed. So, sorry.
We'll now move on to questions from the board.
William, do you want us to consider this as two separate?
I guess it depends on how it's written. Is it written as two separate things, or it is?
Yeah.
Then yes.
Yeah, the first part is on the front section, and then the B is on the left side. Is that correct?
I just wanted to clarify the front setback request. The adjacent houses are also non-conforming, I believe.
They are.
The reason this request is happening is because even though they are reducing the nonconformity, they still don't meet the minimum of the 25 feet. And even though the other houses don't either, they're not coming before you. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to explain that
Yeah, we'll be farther back than neighboring
they're
properties.
reducing the nonconformity, but it's still not conforming.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes a lot of sense.
Seeing no questions from the board, I move we vote to approve BZA case SV 22-12-04, subpart A with regard to the front stoop.
I'll second.
All right. All right. Mr. Gear,
Yes.
Mr. Perkel,
Yes.
Mr. Alsabrook,
Yes.
Mr. Wortley,
Yes.
and Ms. Hand.
Yes, you have 180 days to pull your permit, and your variance has been approved for section A.
I move we vote to approve BZA case SV 22-12-04, subpart B with regard to the left side property line request.
Second.
All right. All right. Mr. Gear,
Yes.
Mr. Perkel,
Yes.
Mr. Alsabrook,
Yes.
Mr. Wortley,
Yes.
and Ms. Hand.
Yes, your request for variance has been approved, and you have 180 days to pull your permit.
Thank you.
Thanks. Since there's no additional communications from staff,
Right,
is there? Okay.
So, thank you, Ms. Hand. A couple of things. Number one, the fence ordinance is going to start coming to you guys. So I'm going to email that out to everyone, and you can, the version that was approved, which is pretty similar to the one that you guys looked at and made comments on. And so that's coming to you guys instead of city council beginning in January. I don't know that we'll have any cases for fence variances in January, but just know that when one shows up, you know that it's coming. And we can also talk about it a little bit at the next meeting, kind of what some of the changes are and all that. The other thing, I wanted to introduce Emily Harris-Miller, who started on Monday, and she's our newest staff member, so everybody be nice to her. And that's it, thank you.
Wonderful. Then I call this meeting adjourned.